Alright guys, it's Stephen here, BlueMoonRisingTV, and it's the transfer target. And after all the fun of the weekend, the new kit, Pep Guardiola, the new badge, we're back onto transfers. And it's quite a big one to start with, Leonardo Bonucci. Now, Di Marzio, who obviously we all know is one of the most respected Italian journalists, said that City have had a bid of £35 million rejected for the Italian defender. And Guardian today have said that we're willing to go as high as £51 million to land the player, which would be a world record fee for the centre-back. That's quite a claim, but then again, he is quite a player. If you remember rightly, Guardiola said himself last year that he's one of his favourite players, which is quite a big claim for a manager of his stature. But there seems to be something in this. Now, it might not be easy to do because obviously he's been fantastic. He was excellent last year for Juventus and he's been even better at the Euros. And the interesting thing too is that he actually plays as part of a back three for Juventus. Given the fact we're linked to Stones, who we'll get to in a minute as well, we could see an overhaul of how we play. We could have a back three next year, which would be very interesting for the Premier League. But stranger things have happened. So yeah, I'm going to kind of put it on the outside of the rings for now because there's a long way to go. But he's a phenomenal player. He's a good 29. He's not an old 29. He's a very assured player, very comfortable, very strong, and he's got more than 3 or 4 years, I would say, left at the top level given how he plays. So I'd like to see that happen. Fingers crossed it does. Next, Leroy Sane. Now, I'm not sure if you remember, the weekend, Ferran Soriano came out with a couple of quotes about how there was a couple of players that we were apparently in for that wouldn't want to say anything because of the Euros. Leroy Sane, maybe even Bonucci too, Leroy Sane fits this down to perfection because he's obviously there with Germany at the moment. Now, Schalke's director as well has followed that up today by saying that Leroy Sane needs to make a decision of his future after the Euros. It does seem to be that there is something in this whole thing. So Sane is going to move in a tiny little bit because I think there is something there. It's obvious that Pep wants him. And it's no surprise if Sane is interested given what Pep's done with the likes of Coman, Douglas Costa and all that. I would love to see him at City because I think he's a fantastic player. Loads of pace, loads of skill. Fingers crossed on that one because he could be a world star one day. After that, Bruno Perez. If you don't know much about Bruno Perez, we were linked to him a little bit last week, but now the latest rumours are that we've had 2 bids for him. The first one, 12.7 million, that was rejected. The second one, around 15.6 million. He plays for Torino over in Italy, and he's one of those old school, really fun Brazilian right backs. One of those ones that bulldozes forward with loads of pace, loads of skill, scores goals, beats people. He's a lot of fun, he's great. Don't know if he's good defensively, but he looks like he tries, and that's all that matters as far as I'm concerned. 26 years old, a standout player, and he could fit into the three at the back wingers kind of situation that maybe Pep's interested in playing. I think there's something in this. I think that's the reason we haven't seen Zabaleta go yet as well, because I think they'll want to confirm a right back before we move on. So I'm going to move in a little bit, and hopefully this will happen. Elsewhere, there's a bit of John Stones news. The Daily Mail reporting that he's told Everton that he wants to come to City. No surprises there because Pep obviously would make him a pretty special defender. City, though, would allegedly have to go as high as 50 million, which is a lot of money for any player, never mind one maybe that's got more about potential. But maybe Pep's thinking, look what I've done with Jerome Boateng. Maybe he sees someone like John Stones as equally exciting potentially. So I think this one might happen too. I think he's one that well, we will see it take a while to drag over, but Koeman doesn't want to keep a player against his will. So that's kind of going to stay around the middle of the rings for now. But this is another one I think is probably one of the priorities for City, if I'm being totally honest. And the last one, it's a new name on the transfer target, and it's a brilliantly named Geronimo Rulli. If you don't know much about him, he's a 24-year-old keeper, an Argentinian international. He's been on loan at Real Sociedad for this season in the Spanish league. He's had a great season. I think he's on loan from Deportivo Maldonado. That might not be pronounced right, but it's a club over in South America. And it was always likely that he was going to sign for Sociedad on a confirmed deal, but City have apparently stepped in. And the interesting thing is that he's admitted he's actually spoke to Pep, and he said he hasn't made a decision on his future yet because he doesn't simply know what that will be. So given the whole Joe Hart rumours about how Pep isn't happy with him, there seems to be something in this too. I do think we want a new backup keeper, someone who's willing to challenge Joe Hart. And Rulli, he could be that man. He might fancy his chances after Hart's pretty average Euros. But that's it, yeah. What other rumours have you seen flying around at the moment? What do you make of all these players? Sane, Bonucci, Perez, Stones, Geronimo Rulli. Still, I love that name, it's great. I can say that all day. But yeah, what do you make of these players? Get in the comments below. Drop a like on the video, subscribe, and we'll see you soon.